Hey guys, what's up? LJS here, back with another deck profile, and this time I'll be doing it on a Bermuda clan and a deck focused around Shangri-La Star Coral. So Shangri-La Star Coral is a promo card, it's a cross-right of the right chain of Aurora Star Coral, the Coral right chain, and it comes from the promo pack of the new booster of EB10, Divas Duet. Divas Duet. So for those of you who don't know, Bermuda Triangle is a clan that focuses on bouncing units back into your hand. So what you do is you call them out, they bounce back into your hand, and you activate skills. So there are a lot of skills that combos off with bouncing back in hand. So what does that achieve? Number one, you get to call units out to attack, and number two, to come back to your hand as guarding power. So Bermuda Triangle is a very, I'll say, defensive clan that plays very defensively, but they can also be quite offensive, depending on which card you play, because some cards gain power when things bounce back into your hand. So yeah, it depends on what build you have. But for Shangri-La Star Coral, she brings in a new, very extremely defensive style of play, because her skill allows you to draw lots and lots of cards. But other than being defensive, you also get a powerful cross-right proof center power lane. Basically, it hits cross-rights, a powerful center lane. Yeah, so Shangri-La Star Coral, she's a cross-right, and she's supported by the original Coral chain. So as you can see, she is evolving from a little girl to a little young girl to a teenager to an adult to a beautiful, voluptuous adult. Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, Bermuda Triangle is all about mermaids, very cute mermaids with big flotation devices. Those of you who don't know what flotation devices are, this is their flotation device, and some of them are really big. Anyways, with that out of the way, let's get to the deck profile. So first, my friend runs for Shangri-La Star Coral. Her skill is Limit Break 4, counter +1, sword +1, and choose one of your Bermuda Triangle rearguards and return it to your hand. And this unit gets 3k. Then you may choose up to one card with Coral in its name, put it into your soul. If you do, draw 2 cards, and you can only use this skill once a turn. So as you can see, you are drawing 2 cards from this skill by discarding 1 into the soul. So essentially it's a very powerful draw. And the 3k she gains is very key, because if you have a 7k booster behind her, that is a 23k power lane. You have a 23k Vanguard power lane. So this, as I said earlier, is also focused on a very powerful center lane, which is Shangri-La Star. 23k anti-cross-right lane. And also, if you notice, you also need to run a lot of Coral in this deck and put them in the soul. So that's why we also run a chain right, which I'll get back to you later, and I'll also explain how to use the right chain and stuff. Anyways, next the next grade 3 run is 3 of the Aurora Star Coral from the right chain. So her skill is counter +2. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, soul charge 1, and then choose one of your Bermuda Triangle rearguards and return it to your hand. If you do, and this unit gets 5k until the end of the turn. And her next skill is the right chain skill, so she's going to be 11k base if you have the previous version of her Shiny Star Coral in her soul. So as you can see, you may be wondering, why am I running 3? Why does my friend run 3 original one and 4 of the cross rights? Because the main boss on the right is Shangri-La Star. You would not want to write any of the other corals, because you want the corals available in your hand to put into her soul to draw 2 cards. Because this deck revolves around heavy drawing. So her skill, you won't use her. You won't use her skill. Her skill is counter +2 to bounce back something, and which is pretty bleh. I mean, in modern standards, it's nothing much. It does help you get 1 extra card in your hand, but it's not really much. So yeah, only 3. So, and the thing is, since her skill requires you to put a Coral into a soul, just put her in, and bam, automatic cross-ride. You don't even have to ride her. So next, for grade 2s, we run for Top Idol Aqua, the vanilla. So vanilla, because you want it as a bit stick. Oh, for this deck, right, rearguards doesn't have that much power, because most of the power comes in the center lane of 23k. So you want your rear guards to be, you know, some kind of bit. Yeah, you want 10k for a beat stick. And I'll explain later this because there's another card that combos with her to give nice number to help you achieve a nice column. Yeah. Next, my friend runs 4 of this Shiny Star Coral, the grade 2 version of the right chain. Her skill is, which you probably won't use, is if you have the previous version of her, Fresh Star Coral in the soul, she gets 1k. So she's at 10k if you have the previous one in the soul as the right chain. And the skill is, when this unit attack hits a Vanguard, choose up to one of your Bermuda Triangle in the front row and then return it to your hand. And if you have a card named Fresh Star Coral in your soul, choose up to one of your Bermuda Triangle regards in the back row, return it to your hand. So if you have the grade 1 version in your soul, and this unit attack hits a Vanguard, you can return 2 cards into your hand, one from front row, one from back row. So yeah, pretty decent skill, on hit skill. But you won't use it because you won't actually write into her, because you want to have as many corals in your hand to use Shangri-La's skill to draw cards. So yeah, 4 of it for obvious reasons, because you want as many corals as you want in your deck to put into the soul. The next grade 2 is pretty key. He runs 3 Prism Promise Celtic. Her skill is, when this unit is bounced back into your hand from rearguard circle, you may pay the cost, which is Soul +1. If you do, choose another of your rearguard and it gets 4k at the end of the turn. So basically, she combos with your Shangri-La Star. So Shangri-La Star, Con +1, Soul +1, bounce her back. Then her skill, Soul +1, give 4k somewhere. So what you do is give 4k to your Vanilla, which is 14k. And if she's boosted by 7k, this column is a 21k column. Magical number that hits non-cross rides. 21k. Nice number. Yep. So that's for the grade 2. Grade 1s, he runs 4 Perfect Guards. Her name is, what's her name? Mermaid Idol Elfie. And look at the floating device. It's really, really big. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, anyways. Perfect Guards, you run 4 because, well, Perfect Guards always run 4. Sentinels. I mean, some people want to run 3, but I think running 4 is always the best option. So next, he runs 4 of the grade 1 of the right chain. Her name is Fresh Star Coral. Yeah, Fresh Star Coral. Her skill is, which you don't really care because you don't really use the skill, is if you have the grade 0 version in the soul, Angelic Star Coral, it gets 1k, so it's 8k Vanguard. And when a grade 2 Bermuda Triangle not named Shiny Star Coral rides this unit, if you have a card named Angelic Star Coral in the soul, look at up to 7 cards from the top of your deck. Just for up to 1 card named Shiny Star Coral among them and read it, and shuffle your deck. So essentially, this skill is just to help the right chain, help you pull off right chain. So if you write the wrong grade 2, you still have a chance to look at top 7 cards for the right grade 2 and write on it. But you don't really care about it because you don't want to use the chain, because the chain is just there to feed Shangri-La's skill. Next, my friend runs 3 grade 1 Vanillas. 8k, yes. Her name is Mermaid Idol Setna. And let's look at her. Pretty cute. Oh my god, yay! Cute girl. And finally, he runs. Oh, not yet. Finally, no, she's not final yet. It's the second last one. He runs 2 of this Prism Image Clear. Basically, her skill is the same as Celtic skill. So when she gets bounced back, Soul +1 and you give something else 4k. So same concept as Celtic. Shangri-La's skill to bounce back. Shangri-La's skill, bounce back, give 4k to your Vanilla, and that column swings for 21 if you have 7k booster behind her. And finally, the mermaid with the largest flotation device. 2 Mermaid Idol Feluca. Yes, as you can see, that is really, really huge. Probably storing oxygen to breathe in the water, or to float, but why would you want to float in the sea? You want to swim in the sea. Anyways, her skill is, when this is placed on Vanguard or rearguard circle, if you have a Bermuda Triangle Vanguard, you may soul charge 1. So she's useful to help fuel Shangri-La's skill, because Shangri-La's skill needs to Soul Blast, and so does the 2 Prism cards, Celtic and Clear. They both need Soul Blast. So you need Feluca to help fuel them and yeah, use their Soul Blasting skills. to give power and to draw cards. So for triggers, my friend runs, I think it's 8, yeah, 8 crits, 3 different types. Use different cards to confuse your opponent. They will not know how many cards. So let them guess your trigger ratios. 4 draws, and then 4 heals. Yeah, and the draw skill is that put in a soul and give something else 3k. So the draw card is also quite useful because it helps you hit numbers. So put this unit in the soul, choose out the one of the Bermuda Triangle, and it gets 3k. So as I mentioned before, Shangri-La Star Coral with a 7k booster. Let me find a 7k booster. Yeah, 7k booster. Hits for 23 when you use Shangri-La skill, because Shangri-La skill gains 3k as well. And yeah, 23k column, which is really good. But as I mentioned earlier, your rearguard columns may not hit cross rides. So even with Celtic skill and the vanilla and a 7k booster, you only hit 21, not enough for cross ride. So you use the draw trigger. Number 1, add soul for Shangri-La skill and also for Celtic skill, because you need soul for their skill, need the soul blast. Put in a soul and give 3k here, so now it hits for 24k, hits a cross ride. So yeah, so this deck can hit numbers and it draws a lot of cards. I tell you, a lot of cards. And basically the idea of this deck is to be very, 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 very defensive, and as well as to push your opponent with a 23k Vanguard column, which is very pressuring. I mean, of course, depending on what decks you play against. But this deck, I would say, goes pretty decent against burning clans like Kagero, Narukami, locking clans like Ninjoker, because basically they bounce back units and you have nothing else to block or kill. Oh yeah, and also for a starter, we play the Grade 0 of the chain, Untitled Star Coral. And her skill is, which you would probably will never use. Oh wait, yeah, you probably use her skill. So when a card named Fresh Star Coral rides his unit, basically the Grade 1, look at up to 7 cards of the deck and look for the Grade 2 or Grade 3 version of the chain and put it in your hand. Her second skill is, when a Bermuda Triangle not named Fresh Star Coral, meaning if you did not get the chain off, you put the wrong card in, you put the wrong Grade 1, you write the wrong Grade 1, pull her to rearguard circle. So essentially she has a Forerunner skill if you did not get the right chain off. But you do not want to get right chain off because you want to pull out as a booster, and also to use Shangri-La skill to bounce her back to have another coral in your hand. So what you do is you have Shangri-La. Okay, let's say you write a random Grade 1, call out to the rearguard. By the time you write to Shangri-La, use Shangri-La skill, bounce her back into your hand. So now you have a coral in your hand. See, because you see her name is Coral. So then you use Shangri-La skill, put her in the soul, and then draw 2 cards. Yeah, 2 cards. Which is a lot better, I guess, because number 1, you get a booster early on, a 4k booster early game, and you get to draw 2 cards with Shangri-La skill. So yeah, so this deck is a pretty straightforward deck. You just write to Shangri-La Star, start bouncing and drawing cards, and then pushing with 23k power lane as well as 21k power lanes, comboing with Celtic, where is Celtic? Celtic, or combo with where is it? Where's Clear? Combo with Clear, basically Grade 1 of Celtic. Yeah. So yeah, this is a pretty straightforward deck. So as I mentioned, write to Shangri-La, have a feel like something like this with a maybe 8k booster behind, and you have Feluca, the one with the big flotation device, behind Vanguard, and then you have Celtic there. So what you do is call her, skill, counter blast 1, soul blast 1, bounce back, soul blast another 1, okay, bounce her back, and then you use her skill, put Coral in, draw 2 cards, 1 and 2, and then her skill, soul blast 1, give 4k here. So now you have a 23k column and a 22k column. But let's say you use your draw trigger to feel, where is it? There you go. Put inside the soul, 3k here, so now this attacks for a 25k column. Also hits cross rights, and you just build up the soul for her skill and her skill. So yeah, this is a simple deck, simple combos, and it's a pretty defensive deck. And basically, the idea of this deck is to outlast your opponent. Yeah, which is quite possible. My friend has been playing with other clans, and most of the time he just outlasts them, and the opponent just dies, runs out of resources. So anyways, this is my friend's deck, my friend's Shangri-La Star Coral deck. I'm not really a Bermuda Triangle player, so I don't really know if this deck is good or not, because yeah, I'm not a Bermuda friend. But if you guys know anything about Bermuda Triangle, if you have any comments on how to improve this deck, if you have any ideas, any criticism, please write down below. Like the video if you enjoyed this video, and if you also enjoy flotation devices, yeah, thumbs up for flotation devices like this one. And subscribe. Thanks for watching. This has been LJS, and I'll see you guys next time.